Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We have only 5 Macbeth monologues left before we are done with this play and we move on to Measure for Measure, because isn't that fun? So anyway, yeah, things are starting to come to a head. England is building an army to come and fight Macbeth, and Malcolm and Macduff are there, and a whole bunch of other Scottish thanes have gone to join that side, and Macbeth has learned about this and he's like, fine, I didn't need them anyway. Because he's still feeling rather confident about the fact that he cannot be killed, or he shouldn't have to worry about any man who is of woman born, and he should be safe until Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane. But he should also look out for Macduff, and he's like, these things are fine, because he killed Macduff's whole family, so he's feeling fine about those prophecies. Lady Macbeth is not feeling fine, however. She has been sleepwalking, and in her sleepwalking, she's been repeatedly washing her hands of these horrible acts that she and her husband had done in the past. So her guilt is manifesting through restless nights. And yeah, yesterday we had Macbeth basically saying it's fine if all these other Scottish thanes are defecting to the English side, because I don't need them. Let's go prepare for war. And he knows that the Queen isn't well. He wants her to be cured. He's told the doctor to cure her at the same time that he's getting ready for war. So today we get to hear from him in Act 5, Scene 5, which means real quick I need to tell you what happens in Act 5, Scene 4. Act 5, Scene 4 happens in the English camp that's like right outside Dunsinane. Remember, they were all going to meet up in Birnam Wood, because Birnam Wood is like over there and Dunsinane is over there. So it's a good place to like regroup and get your things together before attacking the castle. And while all of these lords are there, Malcolm is like, hey, everybody, like, cut off a tree branch that you can hide behind, and then they won't be able to tell when we're coming. It's like gonna throw everybody off their scent. And they're like, oh, good idea, great, okay, cool, we're getting all this together, we're ready to attack the castle. That's essentially Act 5, Scene 4. Act 5, Scene 5 starts out with Macbeth in Dunsinane, and he's like, you know, come on, let's get this going. What's going on? Why are people shouting? And they're like, well, it's the women, sir. And he's like, I don't even remember what fear was. I don't understand why people would be shouting. And somebody tells him the Queen has died. And he responds, she should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly. So he's eulogizing his wife. Here's what's happening, which makes sense, because they were a team that worked well together. When he was afraid, she was the strong one, and she encouraged him to do all of these things so that he could become king, and he wanted her there to share in it with him. Not to mention the fact that they never had kids. So if he was hoping that this whole I'm gonna be king thing could be settled while she was still alive, and then she could give him an heir, then his kids would be kings, not Banquo's kids, as was prophesied by the 3 sisters at the beginning. So now it's going to be even harder for him to have kids who will become kings because his wife is dead. He doesn't really necessarily talk about that in this monologue, but it might be something that's, you know, kicking around in the back of his head. So he talks about that, and she should have died after all of this was done, and sort of the futility of life and how short life is and that kind of stuff. And then a messenger comes in to tell him of something, so he snipes at that messenger, because at this point Macbeth is just sort of sniping at everybody, and the messenger's like, I don't really know how to tell you what I have to tell you, so maybe you should just look out the window. And he's like, what? Just tell me what's going on. And the messenger's like, Birnam Wood seems to be getting closer. Macbeth's like, what? He's like, yeah, look out the window. because remember, the guys all took a branch and they're holding it in front of themselves as they march towards Dunsinane. So it looks like the woods are getting closer. And Macbeth gets to have a nice little freak out monologue at the end of this scene, before we're done with this scene, and we will get to hear that one tomorrow. I will see you then. Mwah.